cartoon is about how low job placement was after graduation for college students and high school students due to the recession of the early 2000s. Talk about the causes of the recession and kind of how it affected the U.S. Most economists blame the early 2000 recession on the 1990s. In the early 1990s, there was a small recession with very little effect, but then in the later 1990s, the U.S. was kind of sitting pretty. They had very low unemployment, around 3 or 4%, which is good around this time. And they also had very low inflation. So the economists say that combination kind of created the recession of the early 2000s. Some of the effects from the early 2000 recession mainly hit the stock market. We was going up it was a bull market for a good 10 years before this and peaked out at about $18.7 trillion paper value. When the recession hit, we went to a bear market, which means it dropped, and we hit a low of about $12 trillion. Unemployment around this time was about 7%, which was not horrible, but it was almost twice as high as it was in the previous years. Since it was so small, the economists really didn't know what day to start the recession or what day it started. They debated on whether it was November of 2000 or March of 2001, because in the third quarter of the 2000 we also had a negative GDP growth, but it actually takes two consecutive quarters to mark the recession, which actually happened in 2001. So the official starting date was March of 2001. Bush, during his time, wanted it to be pushed back to November of 2000 since he was president at the time. He wanted to blame it all on the Clinton administration so he can maybe get the second term. But actually, in the end, neither administration was blamed. So technically, for this cartoon itself, in the short run, I think it holds true, because right when economists started predicting recession, companies got kind of freaked out and they started laying off people, and it was hard to find a job. But for the long run, actually college students and high school students benefited from this. Companies seen them as good work, but for the beginning wages. So they can hire them, get the same work out of them, but pay them a third less or more. So they're actually making more money off of this. So for this cartoon, I think it holds true for the short run, but actually it's kind of a lie in the long run in the recession.